Hi, it's Orit Krug, and today we are talking about if your relationship is falling apart because of trauma or if it's because the relationship itself isn't working out. So the thing is, this is a tough place to be, right? You're not sure if you want to leave your partner. You're not sure if it's ever going to work out. What if you stick around for 3 more years just to find out that things really aren't meant to be with you? The reality is that you would never know. You will never know until you actually heal your trauma, whether it's from the past or whether you've experienced trauma together with your partner in your relationship. And the reason is because when you are still holding on to old trauma, even if you've talked about it and you've resolved it in words, even if you've gone to couples counseling and you've talked about it, it actually makes it worse. It makes it worse to keep telling the same story and living that trauma without actually resolving it, without actually doing something to release it. And even if you've done a bunch of stuff like that, it's not going to change anything. And you're not going to know if it's trauma or if it's the relationship. Because when you're in a survival mode, you're in that survival state because you're still holding on to trauma. You can't help it. We're wired to look for the danger signs. We're wired to look for what's going to go wrong. This is how we are wired to survive. And so if you don't release that trauma, if you have not worked through it and you assume it's the relationship, then you're going to have a heartbreaking split with your partner. You're not really going to be sure that it was the right thing to do. And you have to spend over $20,000, at least $20,000 on divorce lawyers, on selling your house, on moving house, on getting therapy after all of this is blown over and you're just, you're crushed. And when in reality, it could just be that you have this trauma inside of you. Most of the time with my clients, we realize it's from a very young age, even if you can't actually think that or pinpoint that in your mind. Stuff that's happened over 20, 30, 40 years ago is still ruining your relationship today. And people find out. I worked with a client over the last year who, once we got to this place of resolving her trauma, she was like, I wish I never got divorced. It was 20 years ago. She said, I could have saved my marriage. And that is heartbreaking. That is so heartbreaking to hear that 20 years later, you still feel that, because she finally got clear. She cleared that trauma lens, what she called a poop colored trauma lens, and got clear that actually their relationship was great. It really was. She just had trauma and they were triggering each other and it made his trauma worse and they couldn't work it out. But the reality is, even if your partner has trauma as well, then even if you're the only one who does the work, you can transform your relationship, because once you rewire your nervous system and learn new ways of being and communicating, even if your partner doesn't, you change your entire relationship. Because the reason why the relationship isn't working out now, whether it's trauma or whether it's the relationship itself, and I'm guessing it's not the relationship itself because you're here listening to this video and there's a part of you that knows that you can work it out and that you love your amazing partner. Even if just one of you shows up in a different way, it changes everything, because you start to regulate and co-regulate to each other in a different way. I had a client who couldn't speak up to her husband no matter what, and he was so frustrated, and she came to me on the edge of divorce, and he just got frustrated whenever she couldn't speak up. We worked together, we cleared her trauma, we taught her body how to be more assertive and in her power, even through conflict. And now he is hearing her. She has had some huge requests. She wanted to get out of business with him and start her own business. And that was something she would have never been able to bring up in many, many years. And now she's doing it and she's living her life, her purpose and her dreams, because she stopped shutting down and freezing in front of or with her partner. Her partner didn't do any work. She changed that all herself. And if that feels like a burden to you, or if it's not fair, then I would ask you, why are you so resistant to that? Because it's an amazing experience to have a transformation in yourself. It is profound work. It does take some effort. It's mostly in the way that I do it and my team does it, is exciting and fun and playful, and it's pretty easy. It's still profound, but it doesn't have to be so heavy. And she still reaps all the benefits, right? Even though she was the only one who did the work, she feels more powerful and confident and assertive in herself and happier in her skin than she did in over 20 years, perhaps her whole life. So even if you're resistant to being the only one doing the work, I would challenge you to check in with yourself, because you get all those benefits yourself too. So if you're wondering how you can improve your relationship, how you can get that amazing clarity about if it's trauma or is it the relationship, and just finally know and not have to live with regret that you made the wrong choice, or that you stayed with a partner who you actually didn't want to stay with for some reason. If you want that clarity, you are not going to know until you resolve your trauma. And if you want to learn how to rewire your nervous system and release your trauma and have much healthier, happier patterns in your relationship, then you need to learn how that's all possible for you in a way that's quicker, more effective, and deeper than any talk therapy could ever give you. And if you want to learn how to do that, then I would love to invite you to my free Wired for Love training. It's a 3-part video training that comes right to your inbox when you sign up, and an amazing workbook that helps you take action and apply it to your life right away. So you can click on the link to the side above or below if you want to basically have this information that will change your life. Really, if you've tried all these other things, this will change your life. This is straight up neurophysiology about how to rewire your body, your brain, and how to learn new communication patterns, new behavior patterns, so that you can spice up your relationship emotionally, sexually, physically, all of it. Even if those things have been kind of dead for a while. So again, click on the link side above or below, depending on where you're watching, and we'll see you there. Bye.